Hey guys, MoiDawg here, and today we're taking a look at some new info on Squad's next update, V4.3. Now, the full patch notes and update will drop next week on March 15th, but today the devs just released a blog showcasing a complete overhaul of the Irregular Militia faction, which has been arguably the absolute worst faction in the game. The weapons are just flat out worse than everything you're going to be up against. The vehicles explode just by looking at an enemy, and let's just be honest, they're just a worse insurgent. As the devs state themselves here in the blog, we've long felt that the militia were the weakest faction compared to the rest and have been looking forward to bringing them on par with our latest factions. Eventually, we want each faction to have a unique feel, strengths and weaknesses, leaning into asymmetrical design. For militia, our changes have focused around making them much more ambush and entrenchment defensive focused, as well as improving the quality of their infantry since their vehicle lineup still leaves a lot to be desired when compared to conventional factions. Militia will excel at rapid mobility, ambushing entrenchments, i.e. defensive positions, and mobile artillery, and they will suffer from a weaker lineup of vehicles, especially having no helicopters and older generation infantry fighting vehicles and main battle tanks. In addition to this, they also have weaker command strike abilities compared to conventional factions. So in order to bring them up to par with the rest of the game, the first two changes will be brand new roles, the Ambusher and the Infiltrator. The Ambusher not only has the tools to deal out damage during an ambush after its name, but it can also now provide concealment for themselves to set up that ambush as well. There will be two different Ambusher roles, both being able to place down their own personal camouflage net. Although we don't have any images of that just yet, I can only assume it will use the netting found in this image here, as well as the other habs that we have in game, but maybe it will just be big enough so only one or two players max can lay prone and use it. Ambusher 1 will be equipped with the FAL as their primary and can fire 5 frag rifle grenades, while Ambusher 2 will use the M4 and instead carry 2 frags and 2 RKG-3 anti-tank grenades. If you're an old school squad player, you might actually remember a time where there were anti-tank grenades years ago. So this is not only really nice to see, but almost completely unique and brand new to the vast majority of squad players. These RKGs can pin up to 125 millimeters of armor, so it can be absolutely deadly against the lighter skinned vehicles like Matvs and Strikers, but I am curious what the damage will be on more heavily armored targets like a tank. Either way, charging headfirst into an armored vehicle just to throw a grenade at it is definitely a unique way to play squad, and I am totally on board with that. Next, we have the Infiltrator, which is a close quarters role focused on clearing out buildings and bunched up infantry. Their primary will be the AKS-74U, but with a 45 round magazine instead of the 30 rounders we get in game now, and their secondary will actually be the Scorpion, which is just awesome. In addition to that, they will have 2 frag grenades and also 4 more RKG-3 anti-tank grenades, meaning that one infantry squad for militia could very well swarm an enemy position and toss up to 6 of these anti-tank grenades at vehicles between the new Ambusher and Infiltrator roles. Now, we are still waiting on actual gameplay for these, and we still might have a bit more changes that we're not seeing just yet, but so far, reading about these two roles, I definitely think it's going to make the faction play a lot more aggressively, which should be a nice change of pace. Being able to push into a position and lay into them with SMGs, and then not have to worry about a min-arm with your RPG, and instead just toss an anti-tank grenade is really interesting, really unique, and it should finally give that militia play a little bit something that has been missing for years now. In addition to these new roles, we are also going to be getting new militia vehicles. First off, the militia Logi problem should be solved with the introduction of up-armored trucks. The armored Ural 375 and the armored pickup truck will now use welded-on sheets of steel to help protect those inside, and the text that I'm reading here also makes it seem like there will be a couple up-armored techie variants with either Dishkas or 50 cals as well. This is really nice to see since for some reason the only armored techie right now in game is on insurgents, and personally I always thought it was weird that militia had none of that. Now, a little more exciting than armored trucks is the introduction of the BM-21 Grad. Yes, Squad is getting a real rocket truck and is actually the first self-propelled artillery vehicle in the game. The Grad has a minimum firing distance of 900 meters with a maximum range of 1500 meters. However, the devs state that this is on even ground, suggesting that you might even be able to get a little bit more out of it if you angle the vehicle just right. Now, it will also have an arming distance of 100 meters and can only be used on the larger squad maps. And based on the image here, we will supposedly be able to fire 40 of these 122mm rockets in one go. Because of this, I would assume that the rearm for this thing is going to be insanely expensive, and it's going to take like 5 full minutes just to reload. Personally, I do hope this new vehicle will cause players to work a bit better over comms, since you'll need good spots and good callouts to get all these rockets on target, and I for one know that as an infantry player, I don't always have to be the one pulling the trigger for a rocket barrage. Instead, I would absolutely love to see that Grad barrage land in front of me, blow everything up, and then I can charge in guns ablazing. For once, I think this is finally going to make people want to play Militia, and I don't think anyone has said that for like 3 or 4 years. Finally, Militia will be getting a few new emplacements and deployables, including a large camo net, which looks to conceal quite a large area, a hold down position, which will actually allow BMP-1s and T-62s much needed protection against the more modern vehicles they'll be facing, and even an actual anti-tank gun. The ZIS-3 is a 76mm field gun first used by the Soviets back in World War II. Squad leaders can place 2 of these per fob, and hopefully they're going to pick locations that can ambush unsuspecting vehicles or even just lock down a sector. Now, when you pair this with the camo net, hopefully the thought process here is you can have concealed ambush positions that enemy helicopters would not be able to scout out. This is really cool, and I like the asymmetrical gameplay here, where yes, the faction that's fighting Militia has a helicopter, but now we have the tools to hide and ambush and be a little bit more secretive than we have in the past. Now, don't look at this anti-tank gun as being something that can like one-shot an Abrams, since as the devs state and clarify, this is a relic of World War II, and as such, its heat ammunition lacks the armor pin capabilities of modern weapons, but will still need to be taken advantage of in order to offset the Irregular Militia force's lack of conventional heavy weapons. Now, when I take a look at all this, I can definitely see how the devs want the faction to work, but can it actually work in a real game of squad? Games like Advanced and Secure or Random Advanced and Secure might be a little iffy, but this looks like to be a new amazing faction to play on Invasion. And personally, since I love Invasion, I think that's the first thing I'm going to do when the update drops next week. But what do you guys think? Frankly, this little sneak peek of the next update is a nice surprise of actual new content, especially since 4.2 was kinda just full of emotes. So I for one am excited to jump into some games of Fool's Road and Belia in order to really get a good feel for how Militia will play now. Let me know y'all's thoughts in the comments below, and if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more. But that's it for me. Until next time, peace.